welcome to the June 12th, 2025 meeting for the Franklin Conservation Commission. Before we continue, I will take a roll call vote.
Richard Johnson's here.
Louis Puga.
Mark LePage.
Jeff Livingstone.
Michael Ryan.
Roger Trahan.
Tyler, we didn't hear anything from the.
Nicole's
here,
online?
Nicole's online.
Oh,
Okay.
Nicole's online.
Hey, Nicole.
So we have a full house. Great. Thank you very much, guys.
Hey.
Okay.
We also have Anna from Beta joining in just now.
Okay, all right,
All right.
great. Thank
Hey,
you.
Anna.
Thank you very much. Okay. So let's open up the first hearing, which is for 1 Paddock Lane. I believe 1 Paddock was going to come back with a new plan. Yes? You guys are going to?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Chris.
Good evening.
Hey, you've got Chris online and I believe Paul in the room.
So, yeah, so just to set the stage, if you will recall, we took a straw vote last time, and the existing plan was likely not to pass. And what you asked and what we said, fine, was let's just hold off, see if you guys can come back with one more attempt, and to try to mitigate some of the, concerns, obviously, that the commission had, particularly where some of the edges of the project were in some of the more sensitive areas of the wetlands. And as far as I know, that's what you guys are going to come back with now, yes? Correct? Okay. So I'll let you guys take it away.
Yep, so I figure we'll give Paul a quick second to run through sort of the changes he's made on the plan, and then I'm happy to walk through kind of how that impacts our buffer zones and our regulatory compliance
Great.
and that sort of thing.
Terrific. Terrific. Go ahead.
So what we did was we, as I discussed with you before we left, was we brought went off the house to do a filling there, and you can see the square foot. It's 2,028 square feet of filling, and another 241 square feet of filling.
Okay.
And what we have done is we have replicated on this lot. We didn't go on the other lot. Okay, everything is on this lot.
Okay.
And we did a 2-to-1 replication. So the house is 51 feet away from the wetlands. We have that wall, we have nothing in the 25-foot buffer, that's nothing. And the wall that we're gonna keep around there is for the grading, so we don't have to grade out into the 25-foot buffer. As you can see, it's 8.6 feet off the house.
Right.
In the back.
Right.
So we did what we said we were going to do. This is what we wanted to come in with first, was the filling and the double replication.
Could you review where the replication was? I couldn't quite find
So if you look,
all the numbers to match up to what you guys
right,
have.
so
as a
there's,
total.
if you look, there's 1,705 square feet of replication. You see that one?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you see over to the right, as you're looking at the plan, you got 1,852 square feet of replication.
Right.
Oh, okay, and then bottom left, 986.
And then, yes.
And then
Okay.
down near
Got
to
it.
the left, on the bottom. Oh, no, we didn't do any replication.
You got 986 square feet.
Sorry, yeah, 986.
Is it bounded by the green line?
The green line is the green line with the little symbols on it is the existing wetland line.
Oh, okay.
The blue line with the little symbols, see the little wetland symbols on it?
Yep.
That would be the new wetland line.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so I think what you showed there, right, just to kind of clarify, so you got 1705, 1852, and 986, right? So that gives us 45, 43, and I think on the plans you indicate 5133, so I didn't know if there was more, or that was just like I think I had that right. Was that just a math error?
Where are you looking right there where you see the
Yeah, I'm sure, there, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah, replication 5133, so that's,
Yeah, we had more, we cut it down, so that's the type.
oh, okay, yeah, so the real number is 45, or 4543, right?
Just a little over 2 to 1.
Okay, yeah, so we got 2269, a fill, and, yeah, okay, so you're over 2. Okay, thanks for the clarification.
We had a little more, and we were up near the driveway, but we didn't wanna move the driveway, we didn't wanna move the swale, we wanna keep that runoff the way it is. So I had more in that area, but then I would've been within the 25.
Right,
Brought that back down
right.
to, real close to 2 to 1.
Right, right.
And everything in the house and the driveway and all that, nothing's changed.
Okay.
So you got nothing in the 25-foot now, right?
No,
Okay.
So you basically just sort of like brought the whole project like in,
Inside
like
the
inside, basically
the
inside.
50, right?
Yeah, yes.
so I'm just waiting for Chris to get back to me with, in those replication areas, the plans.
Uh-huh,
So
yeah,
he's
yeah,
gonna give me a bunch of plans, we'll list them on the plan,
okay,
we'll spot them in the replication area, so you know what's being planted where.
right, right.
That, I'm just waiting on those guys for that.
Sure, sure. So it
Yeah.
seems to me that this is probably the absolute 100% best case you guys could possibly do. I mean, you've kind of winnowed and winnowed and winnowed. I mean, this is it. I mean, yeah,
Right down
yeah, come right down, yeah, yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, I think so, and I'll just jump in briefly as far as, to kind of reiterate some of what Paul said there. I think, really the intention here was to basically reorient that wetland line in such a way that, obviously we can execute our fill and replication to establish that new line you're seeing in blue. And then really most importantly is keep our impacts respectful of your buffer zones to pretty much the full extent. So what you're seeing, that, as Paul was saying, that house is right outside the 50-foot no-build zone. So we're being respectful of that buffer zone in that sense. For the most part, that wall is around 38 feet from the wetland line, but absolutely no less than 25 along that frontage up there. And I think that this kind of enables us to continue to be respectful of those buffer zones. There will certainly be temporary disturbance in those inner areas as we execute some of this fill and grading and replication. But at the end of that day, everything below that erosion control line you're seeing there will be renaturalized and revegetated.
Okay. Okay.
I just have a quick question. What are you going to be filling, what are you using to fill in the area with?
So typically that would just be, common fill top dressed with loam or topsoil.
And then for the replications, what were your plans for that area?
So we haven't fully fleshed that out yet. We wanted to kind of run this by you as a first pass real quick and make sure that this was worth pursuing further.
Right.
But in general, our replication plans will include basically a narrative construction sequence that we'll prepare, and that will describe, what we're looking for in the soil profile to know when we've reached an appropriate grade. Usually that gets, we excavate until we hit redox features in the soil. So we know we've hit sort of annual high groundwater. We cut a bit more below that and then top dress with 6 to 12 inches of an organic rich soil to be that sort of wetland O or A horizon in the soil and be a suitable substrate for planting.
Thank you.
So
We also take the soil that, when we're filling the wetland, the fill part, we'll scrape that out and stockpile that, and use that in our replication.
Okay.
Because that'll be full of spores and everything else.
Right, right, okay.
Right.
Okay. Louis, did you have a question?
Yeah, so my question was so you have existing flagged delineations here, and then on this new plan, everything gets pushed. Everything's like the lines, the new wetlands. I guess really what I'm just kind of having a hard time to understand, you know, you have this already mapped out, and then you're kind of pushing this out further to the, you know, away, but also kind of, you're also doing replication. The existing wetland areas, are those, you know, I mean, is there standing water or anything of that sort in these areas? Like how would you, you know, I'm just trying to get knowledgeable about this, like how would you replicate water, ponds, things of that nature?
There was no standing water on the site in this area here that I saw when I physically went out to the site, no standing water.
Okay.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, we're kind of working on the fringe of the wetland here, so it's certainly not the wettest central portion. You know, kind of where you see that dividing lot line down the middle. There's a bit of standing water over there, but, you know, not within the areas we're proposing for fill and replication is not typically inundated by standing water, and we would probably include stipulations in our restoration plan to do this in a drier time of the year anyway.
Okay.
My visitations out there bears what he says up.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't go in there, but I drove.
Well, there is a gradual slope from the street, well, steep right at the street, but when
Yes.
you start walking on the site, it does gradually slope towards the wetlands.
Yeah,
So we're basically if you can visualize, we'll just be scraping, we'll start and we'll just scrape down until it's level. And we'll put that organic soil back on those areas of replication, then do all the plants that Chris comes up with. But it's not a big replication area. I've done a lot bigger, that's for sure.
okay. Yeah, I just took I drove, you know, in front of this property and then around just to kind of get a gauge of what it is, what it looks like, you know, so.
Yeah.
I think the corner house there, definitely behind it is definitely, it's wet. There's a lot of water out there, so.
I think Chris is right, there's water standing on the site up to the.
Up to the top of the
Yeah.
drawing.
house,
Yeah.
but not in this general area or the fringe of the wetlands that we're working with.
Yeah, I guess really how I was seeing it is like, you have how it contours downward into this property, and then I'm just like looking at, you know, how water travels, you know, high to low, and then potentially, especially, you know, how if there's anything that is more, you know, hydraulic in that area.
Well, the thing is
It slopes up
there's
towards
no
the road.
drainage.
Well, this,
There is no drainage on the street,
yeah,
so the wetlands are being fed by runoff from the street, a lot of runoff, especially during a heavy rainstorm.
That's 134, that's 133, that's 136.
yeah, if you look at it, it's like 199, 98, and then it slopes downward as you go,
But that's over the house, not over here.
yeah, but
There's a gradual slope. all
there's
the
a,
way
there's
out
a
to
slope,
the
right?
Yeah, it's just slope down
It
to the
dips
wetlands.
down.
And like I said, the runoff from the road, because there is no drainage, is feeding the wetlands. So, I mean, that's why the wetlands are so close up to the road, because it's getting a lot of water.
Yeah.
But you're still gonna scrape buffer zone and fill that and recreate further out? Is that my understanding?
We're going.
Right, so generally there is necessarily buffer zone impacts for this, but in contrast to what we had proposed before, instead of those buffer zone impacts, you know, ending up being lawn or house or driveway at the end of the day, they're gonna get revegetated and end up being a naturally vegetated area at the end of the day.
And will you have to traverse through any wetland to do any of this project?
I don't believe so, no, just you know, obviously the fill areas will be impacted. That's the nature of wetland fill, but, you know, we don't have to cross wetlands to obtain access anywhere.
Yeah, we're working right along the edge around the entire piece.
Lou, you had that question you had about the delineation of wetland, the new and old. Do you understand that? Do we understand that?
Yeah, yes, you know,
So we have a delineation, and then there's a new blue
a
line.
new,
So I don't understand.
you know, I guess really I'm trying to understand how this is interpreted really, so, you know, how it gets pushed and then you're creating in different areas, you know, it's,
So I guess, yeah, so so I'm confused because when I see the wetland flags, right? They're not the same as this new wetland line. So what is the new wetland line based upon it, and why is it different than the wetland flagging?
Well, the new wetland line will, where we'll be filling up to.
Okay, I see.
And then the other wetland, so you get.
So you're basically,
blue
okay,
line.
the fill itself is moving the wetlands out,
Right,
okay, I
so
see,
pulling
I got it.
wetlands in.
Yeah.
With that blue line, then around to the side, the back of the house or the side of the house.
Oh, I see, yeah,
pushing
I
it
see,
out. So
I see, yes,
The
okay.
blue line will end up to be the new wetland.
Yes, I see. After the,
Whether you guys want flags in there or not, but it'll be, we'll.
Right, I know,
putting
I got
stakes
it.
in.
got it, yeah, okay. Okay, I mean, this is it. I think they've done everything they can do.
Got a couple
Yeah,
I mean, the
please.
drawing is very representative of what's out there. They're making a new line, so if we can be, if the replication scheme is something
Palatable,
palatable,
yeah.
and it very well might be, it's gonna look a hell of a lot better than what that site looks like right now.
Okay,
It's a freaking jungle.
okay,
So whatever we do out here, he's gonna, whatever the planting they come up with, we get a shot at picking that and making sure that it's gonna be a much more palatable looking area than it is currently.
okay, before you ask your question, I have one more question. When you guys were walking around the site, I'm just curious, did you have a sense for the level of invasives in this area? Is it basically chock full of, of just everything, or?
I would said there was a lot of. Yeah, Chris can answer that.
Chris, I
Yeah,
mean-
so honestly, it's really does not have much invasive pressure at
Okay,
all.
okay.
There's a little bit along the street, but as we had kind of been going through different iterations of planning and mitigation, we were a little bit stuck in a tough spot because we couldn't really offer you invasive species management
Okay.
as a mitigating
Okay,
effort.
makes sense, yes, okay, thank you. Your questions?
Thanks. So looking at the 50-foot buffer line, it looks like it goes right along the back and the side of the house, and then it cuts through the middle of the driveway. Is that right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so some of the driveway would be within the 50-foot. And could you please kind of explain what the wall is? Like,
Well, we have it's a retaining wall,
Mhm.
so that we don't have to grade out further than we are at. So instead of grading out towards a 25-foot buffer, because we got the elevation around the house raised, we put the wall and just hold that back. So we're not doing any grading, once this is all planted and everything, beyond that wall, there won't be anything.
We're not pushing it down towards.
so the wall is higher than outside the wall?
Yes.
So the house is sort
About
of
2.5
raised
feet.
2.5 feet?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
I just had a quick question about, I had brought up a concern about stormwater runoff from the street. I understand that is a town issue, but I was hoping to see something on the plans to address the issue of that going into the, and I know there's a lot of runoff, so I was wondering if there was any plan for that. And the other question I had was with the driveway. It is, why can't that be moved so it's out of the 50-foot buffer zone?
I can't.
I don't think you could, that would be a pretty, like, you'd have like, make a big S. I don't think you could actually do that.
There's not enough room to do it.
There's not enough room to do
You've
it.
gotta hit the garage.
Yeah, you got it at the garage, huh?
Uh,
And so, but the structure itself, according to your rules for structure setbacks
Hmm.
is 51 feet away.
Oh.
We made the filling line 51 feet from the house.
Okay,
We could go out further, but then we need more replication, so we kept it right at the bare minimum.
right, right, okay.
I just don't, I know, Richard, you're gonna disagree with me, but I mean, it's an all-natural area, and I just don't know why we have to do so much disturbance there. I mean, it's,
Yeah, I mean, the genesis of this was really to make it so that we would be able to respect where the buffer zones land at the end of the day. There is certainly disturbance associated with getting there, but I think that with this kind of fill and replication scheme, we'll wind up with a greater vegetated buffer between the yard and house area and the wetlands. And obviously, it doesn't happen overnight that these things grow in, but that's why we have monitoring protocols in place to make sure that these areas revegetate as we'd like them to, you know, free of invasive overgrowth, and, you know, make sure that they are vegetated, stabilized, native. So yeah, there is a bit of a trade-off there in terms of, you know, square footage of disturbance during construction versus buffer zone and setback distances at the completion of construction.
I think we're going to replicate wetland area. That's the theory here. We're going to disturb some stuff out there, but we're going to come in and we're going to make something looking a little bit better. Mother Nature doesn't always get it the best shot.
Well, we
Naturally.
have ability to control
We can,
what the,
you
what
can
the,
plant this,
yeah, the quality of the wetland.
come up, do something that really could be very good for the site.
And you're also actually getting more wetlands.
Right,
We're giving you 2 to 1, so.
Right,
you're getting
exactly.
more
Right,
wetlands.
Right.
so we're disturbing something, but we're making something new. It's going to be a wetland, it's still going to be a wetland, bordering, but we're going to make it better. It's true, we're going to build a house, but we're also making a much better looking area.
Well, I think also it's important, I mean, it's important, that's the reason why we have the remediation, and that's the reason why we typically ask for things like 2 to 1, right? So we understand there's a big impact, and we're trying to
Yeah.
mitigate the impact by adding additional wetland, and hopefully wetland that's now controlled such that it can grow in grow in much better than what was there before, right?
Initially, when we
Yeah,
go in,
that's
it's
ideal.
not
No.
going to look
Right.
good.
And we don't have the diversity, we don't end up with the diversity that we have with the reclamated areas. We don't have the quality of the plants, you have the quality of the growth and the plants. It is, I mean, all that is, again, in an ideal case, that is all true. That is all true. So the question is, I think there's 2 pieces here. One is the actual way a commissioner will feel about going into an existing wetland and doing, quote, a big invasive project like this. But that's the actual execution, right? How do you feel about the execution? That's one piece. There's a second piece is, at the end of the day, what are you left with? What does it look, what do you look like, right? So you can look at it as, I have issues with the actual execution itself versus I'm looking at what I end up with, right? And I either don't like that or I like that. And these are 2 totally independent, in my opinion, they're 2 independent, basically, issues to resolve. Each commissioner has to resolve both of those. Yea or nay, yea or nay.
And this house fits right in with the general neighborhood because there's a little house, a little house, a
Right,
little house, and this
right,
fits
right.
it's right smack next to the
Right, right. So it's not like some really weird oddity thing
No.
that's like in the middle of a forest, yeah. Right, okay,
The other thing is, we got a very big lot here
yeah,
that is very suspect in terms of wetland impacts.
true,
Right?
true.
So if you were very self-righteous and said, you know, you'd say, well, you can't build a damn thing on this.
Right.
But you can sure as hell pay the taxes on it, and the town's very happy to have this property that you're donating to us for, that you can't use anymore.
Right, right.
So we have to make some kind of effort to make sure that we do the best and right thing about it.
Well, again, you know, we've spoken, just, I won't wax about this. You guys have heard me talk about this a million times, but, you know, depending upon who you are, and the commissioners have different opinions, right? You know, we have talked about trying to set a balance. We're trying to do the best thing for the wetlands and for the ecology, et cetera, et cetera. We're trying to do that, right? We're trying to follow the rules as best we can. At the same time, we are trying to support the citizenry, right, you know, of the town. We're trying to, and that's a balance, and sometimes it's really freaking hard to do. It's really hard.
That's what, yeah.
So, I mean, that's right. So, and basically, as you said, you know, some people come down on the
They
one
won't.
side, and some people come down on the other, right? So, but it's a, you know, where do you sit? So there really is a third piece to this, is for each individual person, you know, where on that spectrum do you lie? Okay?
Yeah.
So there really are three pieces that you have to consider when you're looking at the project: execution, end result, and spectrum. Those three things, right? In my opinion, right? So I think that each commissioner needs to cogitate over those three and come up with what they think would be a vote that appeases all three pieces. My opinion.
One more question.
Yes.
So I'm looking at the 986 square foot replication area. How far is that from the public wayfare there, Beach Street?
The new line,
Yes.
it's gonna be about 10 feet off the layout. The pavement is the other black line you see out further.
Mm-hmm.
So above the word street, you have the contour, the buffer line, and then you have the actual edge of pavement.
So,
So there's a strip of land in between the layout and the edge of pavement that's owned by the town, it's a public way.
Oh, yeah.
but you could say that the public street is within the 25-foot buffer zone of the new wetland.
It is.
It is now, yeah.
Yeah. So what is the likelihood that that would do well, that replication area?
Well, again, you get a lot of water off the street, so it's not gonna be lacking water in that particular area. There are no catch basins there. There's no
Right.
drainage.
And the water runs that way towards the, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, runs into the
To the
wetlands,
side.
yeah.
From the
Right.
road. But it's just in that one area.
Right,
So you
right.
have where the driveway area is, it's not running in to the lot there, it's running down right at, pretty much where the new lot line is going, so where basically all the water comes from both directions and then goes into the site.
Okay.
Okay.
And the driveway is tar?
Yes. And we have it so we're gonna be grading that towards those swales, those riprap swales.
Yep, that makes
Runoff
sense.
control.
Right, right,
We have infiltration system for the roof of the house.
right.
We got rid of the walkway that was out in the front there, so
I saw
it's
that.
impervious.
I saw that, yes.
We're way under the impervious coverage as far as the zoning goes.
Yep. Yep.
Would it be possible to make the driveway pervious?
Not without a humongous expense. I mean, that's a really big ticket. I mean, yes, you could get material that would basically like
Yeah, you can build them.
semi-permeable
Yeah, but-
materials. They do make them, but they're usually used in commercial, like parking lots, things of that
Well,
nature.
I've seen gravel driveways, for example.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Well, gravel would be during a rainstorm.
Yeah.
Then you get more runoff from a gravel
Yeah,
driveway
well,
than you would from
just
a
again,
paved
so-
driveway.
If I may.
Especially if you have lawn next to the driveway, so.
Imagine plowing it too.
Well, can I just say that, so, and another piece of property, which I'm part of a group that manages out in Medfield, we have an area where there is a need to put some sort of footing in to basically make it so that people can traverse, so it's not as, because when it gets wet, it gets very muddy and it gets very treacherous. And we had commissioned the Medfield Conservation out there, just as as a comparison. And they basically said, look, you know, anything you put down is gonna end up, because it's very close to the wetlands, like, maybe like from here to the wall. And they said, anything you put down, because the water runs this way, it's gonna end up in the wetlands. So we don't want you to put any kind of gravel in, because ultimately that's where it's gonna go. And I know you guys have walls and stuff like that, but eventually it migrates and it goes into the soil, it changes things. It's not contained as, you know, basically the driveway would be. But what I was talking about was, for example, at the so the MACC has 2 meetings, one spring, one fall, and last year in the spring, they actually had a tour of several different sites around Devon's. And what it was showing you, some brand new modern materials that people were using, very cutting edge stuff. And one site had used this really cool, it was very cool, semi-permeable. It's like, it looked like asphalt, it really did look like asphalt, it looked like things, but the water would actually go through it, right? And they're actually showing it, spraying a hose.
I've
and
seen-
it's-
I've seen.
Right, right. Now, that's what I said, is that my assumption is that's really expensive and you would only use it on a big commercial site, I think, okay? But I'm saying that's cool, it was really cool, but yes, I mean, if you could do that here, practically, great. I just don't think that's probably economically feasible, that's my guess.
Well, we put the shale drainage areas there, didn't we?
What?
We put the drainage areas off the side of
That's
the,
true,
to let the,
that's true.
to
Also,
That's true.
I've seen over the course of years, permeable pavers,
Yes.
permeable pavement.
Yes,
And what happens is because the water will go through it and there's fines underneath, you start getting sinkholes over 10 years or so where, you know, especially if driving vehicles over it, that
Yeah.
makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah.
that's everywhere.
Walkways is one thing, but vehicles is a totally different
Yeah.
thing, yes, I agree.
Well, that's pervious asphalt, if I may say something.
Yeah.
I work in solar, so I have experience with those types of surfaces,
Ah.
because we drill big holes for columns to put carports up. It sounds good on paper, it is expensive, but as you salt and sand during the winter, you fill up the little holes.
Yeah,
Until you can flush them out, but you really can't.
Ah,
So it's really,
It plugs
you
up.
flush it
Okay.
out, you're just pushing it in more.
I see, I
You know,
see,
so
yep,
They say you can maintain it, I don't believe that, honestly, that it's maintainable.
okay.
I'd rather something else.
No, that's a good point, yeah. Right. I mean, it looked good in practice because it was a brand, I mean,
It does
brand
work,
new
brand
property, it was
new, it
totally
works.
brand new.
Yeah.
He's, the guy who's doing the hose on it, it's like, wow, that's amazing, right? But you're right,
Wait 5 years when it
come
plugs
back,
out.
come
You
back
can see.
later, yeah, exactly.
Or settles and you get
Well, true too, yeah. I mean, you're right. Okay. So question, does everyone think that they have enough information to either cast a vote, we can take another straw, you know, what do you guys want to do?
So, I think we should do a straw poll, right? Because we may need to put some conditions together.
Well, that's true.
Right,
That's
And we
reasonable.
probably want to.
Well, they did recommend that we go forward with a series of
Right, right.
standard,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so I think, I think a straw.
At least let's
Wouldn't
find
this-
out where we stand.
But
Yeah.
maybe we want to do public comments too, I think some folks.
Yes, okay, okay. Is there anyone, yeah, that's good, thank
Can
you.
I just,
Yeah, go ahead.
question, so, but this is not a complete plan, right? They don't have plans for the replication areas.
Right.
And then, once we get the complete plan, Beta will still need to review it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
We're
we
not
do.
like voting on
Yeah.
this
This
project.
is
No,
a
what I mean is
concept.
like, well, they just simply want to know,
A
is
straw
it,
poll.
yeah, that's what I mean, like,
Yeah, I mean,
are we
if it's
just,
dead in the water, why
well,
do the extra
yeah,
work?
why spend more money?
Yeah.
You know, like last time, right?
if they can't come through
We're
with
just
what
trying to be
they're
fair
saying,
to
then
them,
it's.
Yeah.
right, that's all,
Make
that's
sure we're all on
all.
the same page.
No, I just, yeah.
Does
no,
that
no,
make sense? Yeah.
No, we're at the very beginning.
Yes.
I agree. I agree, yeah. Okay, so let me just say, is there anyone in the audience or online who would like to make any comments before we take our straw vote on the project?
I would have a question, Renata Aguilarova.
Sure, go.
Hi, how are you? Renata Aguilarova, 38 Palomino Drive. I have a question regarding the replication. I think it's for Chris. So when you replicate an area of wetlands, you said that you would, scrape down to kind of get to the water level and whatnot. So I'm assuming it would also involve removing any mature trees that might be there to replicate that area, or are you working around the trees that are existing, not to cut them down? Could you please explain?
Absolutely, yeah. So there is, some amount of that tends to be required on these types of projects. We always try and work around mature trees and, desirable vegetation to the extent that we can. Especially in an area like this where we don't have a major topo change. So I'm just looking at it now. From front to back, it's really only getting cut by about a foot. So in conditions like that, frequently you can save at least some of the vegetation there. Usually not all of it, unfortunately, and that's kind of an inherent issue with wetlands replication, but these will all get planted at the end of the day with a variety of shrub and tree species. So in short, yes, we make every effort we can to save what we can. We can't usually save all of it, but we do usually save some of it.
Renata, the other thing will.
Right, because, we do have many animals, birds nesting
Yeah.
in places, right? So, we have barred owls that nest in the area. And you also mentioned that you typically try to do this during the drier time of the year, so that would be a summer, I'm assuming?
Yeah, usually, as long as the soils aren't super saturated, we can at least work with them fairly well. If you're doing it early spring or something like that, you're basically shoveling soup. So it makes it easier from an implementation perspective, as well as, reduces some concerns with erosion and sedimentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still don't understand why we have to destroy wetlands to create wetlands, but okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Okay.
Hi, yes, Joni
Oh.
McGee. Hello, happy evening. I'm curious, what is the mission of the Conservation Commission?
So the mission is generally to work with applicants for projects in the town to optimize those projects to best protect or perpetuate the wetlands on any given developmental site. Is a take on that.
Yes, Jeremy. I mean, again, we have guidelines from the state, we have guidelines from the town, the bylaws, and we use those as guidances to try to, again, to balance what is required by conservation and what is required by the town, or the citizens or the applicants.
The citizens and economics are not mentioned in your bylaws or your mission statement at all. It's about the ecology, the wetlands, and nature. And I just want to make sure that we're all valuing nature.
Sure.
Yeah, so
That's the mission, that's the charge.
within the
Not
confines.
trying to balance citizenry and whether they have to pay more money or not. I'm confused by some of the conversations this evening, but it could just be me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, all that within the confines of the Federal Wetlands Protection Act, Commonwealth of Massachusetts Regulation 310, and Franklin Guidelines and Bylaws, right? Those are the three clubs in our bag with some real specific direction. We also are somewhat beholden, just to be clear, to Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection as well as Land Court, right? So a lot of times what you'll see is we try and work collaboratively with applicants so that we don't put the town in a position where we make a decision that comes across as arbitrary and would subject the town to having to legally defend itself, which would cost money and potentially lose, right? So yes, what you said is very accurate, but to Chairman Livingstone's comment a few minutes ago, particularly within the viewpoint of the DEP, Department of Environmental Protection here in the Commonwealth, replication is a fairly well-held and common standard
Legal.
for, legal standard for working with applicants, right? It's a fine line, but it is something we have to make sure that we consider and are open to, right? So we're all on the same page here, right? We're all concerned with the things you described, but there's some things in there that we want to make sure that we're being reasonable and balanced on, if that helps.
Thank you.
Thank
Sure.
you. Okay.
John Detterman, 86 Palomino. I am rarely speechless, but I really don't think that this proposal merits much discussion because I think it's the most abusive to the wetlands, and I understand that there's an opinion that as you drive down the street, that property doesn't look right, but that's as nature intended. You know, to say that it would look better than it does today, we all agree that there's non-invasive plants. It is as it's intended to be, and that's our objective, is to preserve that rather than demonize it, in my opinion. Another point is, I believe I heard the applicant at the last meeting allege that this construction is intended for his daughter. I would be curious if the commission had any questions about the existing investment property and why that's not suitable for the daughter, but that's a separate discussion.
That it's really completely out of bounds.
Yes, understood.
Completely and totally out of
I
bounds.
have to say.
So I believe this is my time. This is my time. I don't believe anybody else has been recognized.
Right.
You need
So
to
the
respect the process,
the whole project is based on variances, as I understand it. What basis would the variances be granted? Right, there are primarily two opportunities for variances, right? So on what basis would these variances be granted?
Basically, based on a proposed 2-to-1 replication of, so there's some variances within the buffer zone and the wetland fill that would result in a 2-to-1 replication, right? That's what we're looking at.
So but the opportunities for variances, right? You may grant a variance upon showing that the applicant, that any of the proposed work or its natural consequences will not have an adverse effect upon the interests of the wetland.
Hence the replication.
So there's
That's
a
the
line
whole-
of logic that says if you end up with twice as much wetland resource as a result of the project, that's beneficial, right?
Let me just say, okay,
Yeah.
the bottom line is, okay, and I'm just going to bottom line it. In Massachusetts, whether you agree with it or not, okay, that's immaterial. In Massachusetts, replication is a legal reason, according to Massachusetts, that's not us, Massachusetts, replication is a reasonable way to ensure that the net of the wetlands overall is not changed and ergo not impacted. You can argue until the cows come home whether or not that is true or not, ethical or not, whatever. That's where Massachusetts stands legally. And that is what this commission is tasked with using as a tool to gauge. And that's what we do under the state.
So how do the town bylaws come into play? Because what I just read was from the town bylaws, not the state.
Sure, the town bylaws can all, I'm just pointing out the town bylaws can be more restrictive, but not less restrictive, obviously, than the state, right? And so the state can then go on and say, well, maybe we need 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 or 5-to-1. But the bottom, the basic tenet of replication is built into state law, and that can't be changed by the town. Can't. You can't, a town cannot say, we will not accept replication, period, and that's more restrictive, therefore, we're making that into the bylaw. That will not stand. That will be struck down. And this town will be sued and pay handsomely. That's how it is.
So the wording of the variances, right, and I'm truly trying to understand this, but the commission may grant a variance upon showing that the proposed work or its natural consequences, consequential impacts, will not have any adverse effect upon any of the interests in Chapter 181.
And that is interpretable. That is an interpretable phrase that this commission and its experience and wisdom and education, all these people have been through tons and tons and tons and tons of courses and classes, make that determination. That is not black and white. That is a determination that's made here at this table, what that means.
Filling in the wetlands, though?
We're not
it's-
filling in the wetlands, sir. The wetlands, we're not into the wetlands. We're in the border to the
Right,
wetlands.
right.
Can I ask for clarification on that point? Because that's not what I heard earlier.
No, it's, yeah. They're
I-
not in the wetlands.
We are
We're not building in
we are
the
filling
wetlands.
in the wetlands, 2,000
You're filling the
square
wetlands,
feet.
Oh, the project's not in the wetlands.
filling the wetlands.
But
Yeah.
replicating elsewhere, yes,
Right, okay.
right. We're moving effectively the wetlands to a different location. And again, upon decades of court precedents, that is a reasonable thing to propose, both from the town and from the state.
So I have seen other replication, other wetland filling in replications, say in commercial sites and that. Does the town have precedent for undisturbed land, just going in and clearing it and filling the wetlands?
If the project is approved, then yes.
Sorry.
If the project is approved, then yes.
No, but are there other similar sites that have been undisturbed that the commission has authorized clearing and filling the wetlands?
Yes, I can tell you that in my 15 and 1/2 years on the commission, many.
All right. Thank you very much for your
Okay,
time.
thank you. Are there any other questions? Can we move to straw? Is that all right?
I'm good.
Okay.
I vote yes.
Luigi? Louis? Sorry. I'm sorry. Go on.
No.
No? Okay. Wait, sorry. I'm taking tally. Okay.
I'd like to move forward and see more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
I'd be in favor,
Okay,
yes.
move forward. I'm voting yes to move forward to see more.
Move forward.
Okay,
No.
okay. Nicole?
No.
All right. We have 4 yay, we have 3 nay. That gives you the majority. If we voted on the project, which we're not, but I'm saying if we voted on the final project, you would pass. So that's where we sit.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can come back with
At least now you
a lot of
know.
plantings and,
Right.
you know, and you guys can scrutinize
Right.
that.
And also, you've heard some of the concerns, so if there's a way to do any kind of tweaking, now you have it in your head.
Yeah, you
What
got a
the-
chance to really do this up and come back with something that is really good. It's gonna have to be.
We agree.
Okay.
Okay,
And thank you for your time.
okay, so we'll continue then? Do you want us to continue to 2 weeks from now?
Chris, is that okay with you, or?
I think you need to-
It's probably a tight turnaround to
Do you
flesh
want us
this
to do
thing
4?
out
I mean,
fully.
we can do 4 if you want, Chris.
I'll tell you what, it's a-
I would defer to Nabi on the timing. I could certainly make an effort to have it ready in a week from now, but I think it might be a little optimistic.
I tell you what, I'd suggest 4 weeks too. It'd be great to get the submission, give us a chance to have Beta take a look at it, right? So then by the time we look at it, we're really all dialed in, and
Yeah.
if you guys are good with that, that'd be a
I
recommendation.
agree with that.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
I'll take that.
Can I just say something? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Sure, go ahead, Nicole.
Absolutely.
So when you're working on this plan, could you please look at something with how to handle the runoff? I mean, because I understand that you're gonna do the replication and it is right close to the street, but how long is that replication going to take? Is the runoff going to, hamper the effectiveness of the replication? And is it going to be as effective as what is there currently?
So can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Do you mean more so during construction period or post-construction?
Post.
Post? Yeah, I mean, I would be inclined to say that, a decent chunk of that 25-foot buffer zone is already comprised of the street. So I don't have any concerns with the long-term success of that wetland replication area. Typically, we run into problems with replication areas for being too dry rather than being too wet. But this is absolutely something that we will take into consideration.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, with that, I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 1 Paddock Lane to July 10th at 7:01.
Second.
Okay. Richard, continue?
Continue.
Continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue?
Continue.
Continue.
Nicole?
Continue.
Continue. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
This is a really difficult project. Thanks for working with us, guys. Really difficult.
And we appreciate you working with us.
Yeah, we
similarly.
appreciate how
We really
difficult
wanna do
this
the
is.
right thing.
Okay,
We do.
right, so,
Thank you.
okay. Right, so I think that the next item on the list is the NOI for 100, 102 Panther Way. I believe that the applicant requested a continuance. Is there anyone here from 100, 102 Panther Way that wanted to give any information, or no? Probably not?
Don't believe so. I wait
Okay.
there, wait until July 10th is when they.
Okay, so we'll just go straight to, a continuance, since the applicants are not here.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 100, 102 Panther Way to July 10th at 7:02.
Second.
Okay,
Continue.
Continue.
Vote to continue.
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 Nicole?
Continue. Continue.
Continue. Thank you. Okay. Then next up is the NOI for 444 East Central Street. I believe there's been quite a bit of,
I think we've got AJ here.
AJ?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
If
great.
you can hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
great.
yes, yes.
Excellent. We've continued the last few hearings because we were in the process of making changes to the plans that were responsive to the comments we have received from the ZBA. Since we're also doing the comprehensive permit process with the zoning board simultaneously with the notice of intent process with you all. That was the reason for the continuances the last few hearings, but I'm happy to say we have finished the revised plans. We submitted them actually earlier today to the Conservation Commission as well as the ZBA. So I'd like to, if it makes sense, give just a brief high-level overview of the site plan changes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go into too much detail tonight, but I'd like to just give a summary of the overall high-level changes so that the commission is sort of up to speed on some of those items that we addressed with the zoning board.
Okay, go ahead.
So let me share am I sharing my screen? No.
You should be
How
able to.
how about now? No? Okay, how about? How about
We see,
now?
yeah, we see, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
now you're
yep.
good.
Now we got it. Now we got it.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Let's see, how do I? Is the PowerPoint shown or no?
It was.
It was for a minute, and now it's back to black.
Okay, give me 1 second, sorry.
Black.
How about now,
Now it's back,
good?
yeah, now it's back, yep,
Okay, excellent, sorry for the technical difficulty.
no problem.
So we just put together this quick, side-by-side, a comparison of the, previous, site plan, the original site plan and the revised site plan. So on the left is the original site plan, on the right is the revised site plan, which we submitted today.
Okay,
To go through some of the changes. So the genesis of the revision overall was a result of incorporating additional parking that the ZBA requested. So the parking ratio went up from 1.35 spaces per unit to 1.62 spaces per unit. So quite a substantial increase in parking that the ZBA requested, which we incorporated.
so AJ, it seems like you've lost a building as well, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes? I mean, a whole building,
Yes.
yes?
So to increase the parking, we had to consolidate the buildings from 5 total residential buildings into 4.
Yes,
So we removed those 2 3-story buildings that are on the eastern side of the site and basically replaced it with 1 4-story building. So now all the buildings on the site are 4-story.
okay,
It made the site plan more efficient, and actually, despite the increase in parking, you would have expected more impervious area to be on the site, but we actually were able to reduce the impervious area by about 10%.
wow, okay.
We also increased the east setback along the eastern edge of the property line, eastern building setback. We also increased the eastern buffer area. These were comments that were responsive to comments raised by the abutters, the residential neighbors to our east.
Okay,
So what we did was we pulled the building setback back a little bit internal to the site. We also increased the buffer area, and because we were able to bring in the edge of parking lot and the edge of work on that east side, we were able to save a significant amount of existing vegetation buffer, which is pretty substantial in that location. So that's on like the northeast corner.
yep,
And we also then proposed additional new plantings just to the south of that existing tree buffer, all the way down to the southern east edge of the site.
okay,
We also proposed a vinyl fence to be constructed, which adds additional screening and privacy for the development and those neighbors. So those were the main changes that we made to the site plan. There's a couple ancillary ones that were sort of as a result of some of those efforts. One is we ended up relocating some amenities. So the clubhouse, we switched to the other side of the driveway. This created a more efficient parking layout, and to be honest, we were struggling to get the parking that the ZBA requested. So that was a big change that allowed us to get
Yep.
more spaces.
I see
We also flipped the pergola platform amenity, which was on the east side of the stream. We flipped it to the west side of the stream. This was also to get some additional parking, and also the grading is much more forgiving on the left side than the right side. So we left the right side where it used to be completely untouched. And the left side is actually a much better spot for it. We avoid a switchback, so there's less site work, there's less grading, there's less disturbance.
yeah, I see this, yeah.
And yeah, and we're really excited about that amenity. It's pretty unique and rare to have a natural amenity like this that allows, you know, nature immersion and appreciating this amazing natural resource that we have on site. So we're pretty excited about how that's going to come out. And then the last change that we made was the parking garages. We tweaked those a little bit on the left side, bottom left. We shifted the parking garage from the east side of that median to the left, to the west side of the median. And then on the right side, we just relocated one garage to the north, and we added an additional garage to the east side.
I see. Yep.
Those were the major changes. Like I said, we submitted revised plans for the peer reviewer Beta to begin their review on. We just didn't think it made much sense for them to start given all these changes that were coming. So we look forward to hearing their feedback on the new design. And the drainage report is being submitted either tonight or tomorrow. So that will also be in Beta's hands either as early as tonight or tomorrow. So yeah, those are the updates. Happy to answer any questions. Yeah, we're really pleased with actually how the plan came out. We thought the feedback from the town actually made a better project at the end of the day, and we're excited about it. So
I think it definitely looks much more efficient than the previous. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Did the waterway change, I mean, from one drawing to the other? It looks like it's a little bit different.
No, the waterway didn't change. I think our landscape architect used just a slightly different color, so it kind of looks like it changed. This is a rendering done by Photoshop, so it's a conceptual rendering. It's not exact in terms of, you know, he basically goes in after the fact and colors in the stream, so it might be due to that.
Okay. I'm good.
Any other questions?
No.
Guys?
Just an observation, and this could be the Photoshop thing. The building to the west, the southernmost building there, on the original one, you have it shown that it's there's quite a bit of buffer between the stream and that building. But then on the revised one, it looks like it's pushed further
Toward the stream.
Toward the stream. Am I looking at that right? Is that like did things get?
It's been reoriented slightly to pick up additional parking. In that area, we actually had a drainage basin proposed behind that building. We had some extra room to work with in that area in terms of the wetland boundary. It's pretty it was further inset than the building edge. So we basically just removed that basin and I think reoriented the building slightly to angle it a little bit more to the east.
Yeah.
So I believe that is accurate.
Okay.
So the bottom of the building was swung out.
It's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
fine,
it's
yeah.
got pushed in and you're
Yeah.
kind of you're cutting into
So you-
what originally was undisturbed. You're basically getting closer into the the stream now. So.
Well, we did have a drainage basin proposed in that area, so it wasn't quite undisturbed, and we didn't go further in than where that drainage basin was.
Okay, I may have to.
So that riverfront, if I recall, you're actually not, it's not gonna be undisturbed. Are you remediating, right? The damage was done?
Right, do you want me to hit that, AJ?
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so while we're kind of on the topic of that building in particular, as I was looking through the site plans when they came off the presses earlier today, that's still about 100 feet from the river itself, and mostly respects the 50-foot buffer zone down in that area. Additionally, in that area in particular, there's kind of a variety of weird dump piles and stuff like that. The tree canopy is really all just nursery stock that was allowed to kind of mature in place and was never dug for sale.
Right.
So I think calling it a pristine natural forest is a stretch. There is going to be a good chunk of riverfront area mitigation and restoration out here in that area in particular, kind of down at the southeast corner of the western side of the site.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification. I think I'm looking at it more like, you know, we had some, you know, areas where, you know, and like you said, it's not, it's, you know, it's just, there's things in there, fill, that stuff, but, I think I'm looking at it as like what the change was with keeping, you know, some of that, you know, that buffer from, you know, where the center line of that stream was, and, you know, and that was kind of, it was kind of like more, you know, we're now getting closer to that, than the original proposal, so, you know, I think I was gonna have a question as far as like if there was any, additional, you know, I know there's no replication, but if there's like an additional, natural resource that was added to this, or a green space, because of.
Yeah, so a couple of notes on that, if I may. I do want to note, especially on the east side of the stream, really that is a degraded riverfront area, essentially all the way up to the water's edge. So in this proposal, yeah, we are kind of reusing some of that existing degraded area to an extent, but we end up with, you know, 20 to 40 feet more vegetation between that degraded area and the river than exists today. As far as replication, there is a bit of replication involved in this as well. We have a couple of IVWs that, if you recall, our ANRAD proceedings we had talked about. So that kind of bluish gray triangle in the far bottom right of the image is going to be replication. Typically, you know, being a 40B proceeding, we would likely not be subject to the bylaw, or at least not all of the bylaw. And those IVWs would not be jurisdictional under the state law.
Right.
But nevertheless, we are proposing replication of those impacted IVWs down along the BVW line in the bottom right corner.
Okay. Yeah, I think thanks for clarifying that. I do, you know, I remember that there's that southern corner there. And I think it was kind of, the ask was if there was an additional to that then, so, but, I think I copy what you're, you know, what you're trying to do here, so. Nicole, I think you had a question.
I did, about the catch basins. So you're removing a catch basin on the west side, on the southerly west side, in between the parking garage and the building?
Not in between the parking garage and the building. There is a drainage basin that was behind the southeast building, which is on the west side. So on the west side of the site, west of the stream, in the southeast corner, that building had a basin behind it. We removed that basin. We redesigned the entire drainage system on the site as a part of the revised plans to hold all the drainage and subgrade infiltration systems. So the basins have been removed.
Oh, okay, but we'll see that in the new plans?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No.
Not at this time.
Are there any questions from the audience, either in chambers or online? Okay,
Appreciate you giving us the overview, though,
Thank you.
guys. This was helpful to be able to.
Very helpful.
see
So
it
we'll
sometime.
continue?
Yeah.
yes,
I'll give you a motion.
Thank you.
thank you.
In terms of timing, Chris and AJ, do you anticipate that we'll want to get on the meeting on the 29th? Actually, yeah, because Beta's got this now, right? They've got the, okay, yeah, so when.
I did submit the plans to Tyler today. The drainage report is being sent to him as we speak.
Okay.
So I would like to hold the next hearing in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Hopefully Beta can be through with their review by then. That would be great. And, yeah, if that's okay with the commission, I would like to do that.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's keep it on. All right, good.
Okay.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 444 East Central Street to July 10th, 7:03.
Actually, it's going to be June 29th.
June 29th? Oh, I'm,
June 26th or 29th?
Oh, let me look. Sorry.
It's the 26th.
26th,
My
thank
bad.
you.
26th, that's
Thank you.
correct, yeah.
I'll
June
give-
26th.
Okay.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI to 444 East Central Street to July 26th at 7:03.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
June.
sorry, it's June.
June, okay. We'll get it, we'll get
We'll
it.
call it June this time.
June
June.
June
26th.
26th
We
at
got it.
7:03 PM.
Okay.
All right,
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Okay.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue.
Thank you.
Continue.
We'll see you in July.
Thank you.
See you in July, yeah.
Nicole, give us a vote. Thank you. Thank you, continue, thank you.
Thanks,
Engagement.
guys.
Thank you.
Okay,
Have a good night, guys.
all right, let's go on to, so it says here, so the next one is the NOI for 260 Daniel Street. It says here that the applicant has requested continuance. Is there anyone here for 260 Daniels, either online or in chambers? Okay, if there's no one, then we'll go ahead and take a vote to continue.
All right, I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 260 Daniel Street to June 26th at 7:04.
Second,
Okay.
vote to continue.
Vote to continue?
Vote to continue.
Continue,
Continue.
Nicole?
Continue?
Continues, okay. And next up, I'll open up the next meeting, which is the ANRAD for 731 King Street.
King Street.
Okay. King Street, what's on King Street? Oh, I know where this is, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Paul Small, Colonial Engineering. So, this land, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, right off 495. It's a big chunk of land. There is one existing house on the property. It's the Delaco land is who it is.
Okay.
And right now, there's really nothing to discuss other than the wetland lines. We had Karen from the Town of Westwood Conservation Commission flag it all in what you have.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. Could you put the microphone closer to you?
Oh, sorry.
I can't
Sure.
hear you.
Good,
So we had, you're familiar with Karen from,
yes,
she did all the flagging. And so right now, we just need someone to review and approve the line. We have nothing planned at this point as far as subdivisions or anything.
okay, all right. So we just need to get
So
Beta,
this is what they got. This is,
need to get Beta out there to review.
So
Review the
you got
delineation.
a intermittent stream going through the,
Running right through the middle of it, yes.
okay,
Okay,
and then another wetland area. Okay.
It crosses underneath that little cul-de-sac road continues.
okay.
This is where, King Street, this is, the fire station's, across from it, from this property.
Forest.
This fire
It's
station,
across from Forest Street.
Forest Street. yeah.
4th Street, yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's good.
And that subdivision, I don't have my glasses, I think it's Amelia Way, that subdivision that's to the left there.
Correct, yeah.
That was all part of this Delaco land at one time.
Ah,
And the houses on the left-hand side to that Wilson Way was all part of this at one time.
right.
pretty big piece of land.
So all of these lots are all of these lots that you have drawn out here are part of the King Street.
Those are existing homes on those lots.
Those are existing?
Yes.
So it's this area up in here?
Yeah,
So
it's all the backland.
So this house here,
Yeah.
is that house is the entire part.
How do we get around
And there's a stream, and that stream
There's a stream,
crosses east to west.
that? Yeah. That's a
You got
wetland.
one.
And there is a little wetland finger to the south of that stream also.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
So Karen flagged it, Beta's gonna take a look at it. So,
Whether they want to schedule with Karen to walk it at the same time? or-
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be good. I mean,
That would be a good idea. I think so, yeah.
and if you can let me know what date, I can make sure my guys go out and just, make sure all the flags are still there.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep, yep, yep.
so he's gonna get a couple dates from
From
John,
Karen.
and we'll communicate, Tyler, is that okay?
Yeah, it's, Beta should be undergoing, or work on the peer review right now. I'm not certain if Anna has any updates on it right now, but they should be hopefully able to have a site visit out there.
Okay.
Then, before the next meeting.
Okay.
Just wanna make sure that we let them know, so,
Right.
don't wanna walk together, so, okay.
Okay.
I'm Anna Hasner from Beta.
Hey, Anna.
We're intending to go out there on Monday
Okay,
Oh.
great.
okay.
of
That's
next
awesome.
week. So
Can Karen make that, you think?
You want to meet Karen down at the end of that Amelia Way there? It's a good place to start.
yeah, that should work. I'm not sure exactly what time we're intending to go. Probably 8 or 9 in the morning.
Oh, yeah,
If that would work
right.
better.
Right there.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Anna.
No problem.
Okay. Anything else? No? No questions? No? Any questions from the audience, either online or in chambers? Okay, so I guess we'll continue.
Give you a motion to continue the ANRAD for 731 King Street to June 26th at 7:04, I think we're up to, right? Or 7:05.
Mhm.
7:05.
Second, vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
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 Nicole?
Continue?
Continue. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, update.
All right,
Have a good night.
appreciate it.
Got a long way to go on this one.
Okay, that's all for the public hearings. Now we're into minor buffer zone activities. And first up is seven. What?
Just a quick break.
Oh, quick break? Yep, okay. Well, we're gonna take 5 minutes. Take 5?
Good by me.
Recording stopped.
Okay, you ready? Oh, no, are we waiting for these guys? Did those guys leave?
I didn't quite hear.
Are we done? Oh,
They were done.
we're done with them.
Yeah, we're done with that. So-
Recording in progress.
Okay, so now we're doing the buffer zone, right?
Yeah, or the MBZA.
MBZA, yeah, Ansley
What
Drive.
is it? Okay.
Is there anyone here for Ansley Drive?
We hope they were gonna show up and kinda,
Is it, we wanted them to
Talk it
come,
through,
right?
right?
Yeah? No?
I believe they have the link. I can at least bring up the plan.
Yeah, what is that about?
Is there anyone online for Ansley?
It's not good.
Yeah, they said they'd be able to attend by Zoom or try to attend by Zoom.
Maybe they're having trouble?
because they're replacing a deck, right?
Mhm.
Didn't we talk about that last time?
That was,
Was that not the one?
Mike Matoni's here for Ansley.
Ah, there you go.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Thanks.
Good.
So, could you just briefly give us a breakdown of the project, please?
It's gonna be a 10 by 32-foot deck. I don't know what else, that's about it. So there's, the previous deck, I believe, was 12 or 14 feet, but they're just making it was falling off the house. I didn't even think there was any footings there from before. I think there were cinder blocks buried in the ground.
Okay, all right. So footings, putting in footings.
Yeah.
It's all,
Yeah, there's like three, wait a minute, there's four, there might be 10 footings.
okay, 10 footings, okay.
What
Yep.
kind of footings are they gonna be?
Well, they're 12 inches round and they're 4 feet deep. The only reason there's so many is because they have a screen porch coming off way over near the garage, and there's nothing underneath it, it's falling off the house.
So
you
you're
have to
gonna,
support that little screened-in porch, it's like 6 by 4 feet.
so you're gonna dig the holes, put a sonotube in, pour concrete in it?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So does everybody have does everybody have Anna's notes from Beta? Have they seen
don't.
that?
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
the packet, back of the,
Yeah.
it's the fourth page, the back of the second page.
So basically it's pre-disturbed, it's just in this
Yeah,
same.
it's
same-
gonna be smaller than it was.
Right, got it, got
I
it.
really don't think there's footings there.
Yeah, no vegetation,
In the foot.
No,
yeah,
nothing's getting moved.
right. The one thing that we typically do ask if that's possible is erosion controls around the area especially while the footings are going in, is that possible?
We could, so could it be hay bales?
We really don't like hay bales, we really would rather have socks. We tend to,
Socks? Yeah, we could put socks along the right side of the house back.
is that okay?
That would be great if you wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah,
No, we can do it.
okay,
It's not a big deal.
thank you. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's all we got. Any other questions, you guys? I mean,
I'm good.
all right, you want to approve the MBTA?
Any other question?
I
Okay.
don't- She said
I'll
no.
give you a motion to approve the MBZA for 7 Ainsley Drive.
Second,
Okay,
approve.
Sorry, may I just weigh in? Do you want to list that as an additional condition of those erosion controls with the motion to approve?
yes, okay, we can do that. Yep,
Good catch, Tyler.
yep,
Thank
yep,
you.
yep.
Compostable?
Compostable,
Compost.
Yeah, compostable.
Compost
side.
side,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
good catch, Roger.
Yep.
Biodegradable.
yep.
Okay, so I'll give you a motion to approve the MBZA for 7 Ainsley Drive with conditions as stated.
I'll second it,
All right.
and I'll approve.
Okay,
What's approved?
Vote to approve.
approve.
Approved.
Approve.
Nicole,
Approve?
approve. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay,
in and
thank you.
with
Thank
the
you.
explanation.
Thank
That's
you.
helpful for us.
Okay, and now we roll down to certificates of compliance. It's the MBTA right-of-way.
Ah.
Is there anybody here from MBTA?
Yes, there is a few of us attending tonight.
Okay.
You.
Okay. All right.
My name is Jeremy Fontaine, and MBTA Environmental Compliance Officer. We're here for the MBTA Franklin Line right-of-way double track project, Phase 2, and I'm here with two of our consultants from HDR, Brian Mellon and Nick Henke, that are going to take over on just giving an update of the project, how we've completed, and we're here for the COC.
Thank you for the additional pictures, by the way.
Right.
Helpful.
Right. And it was, Richard, you're the one that went out.
I went out and looked at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So, I didn't find anything wrong with it. It looked like it was all back to, this was done just a little bit ago, right?
That's or Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, this was completed some time ago, right?
Sorry, a few of us here, I'll jump in. So it began several years ago, but finalized more recently, yeah.
Okay. Well, to put it,
Yeah.
there's no disturbance out there. It looks natural. I walked the whole thing. Well, I viewed it at 3 different spots because I wasn't going to fork out through the 2.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I didn't find, I took some pictures, but I didn't know how to transmit them to you guys. But it's, I didn't walk down, you didn't walk down the main line because you can't do, you're not supposed to do that. And I didn't find any problem with it.
Okay, as far as you can see, it's okay.
It's
A-okay.
back to its natural, you
Okay.
wouldn't know that there's any construction done. There's no violation of the wetland areas, so
Okay.
I don't see why we wouldn't approve it. There's no
I
problem.
was just gonna say, you guys want to walk through it real quick, to see what you came prepared to talk it through from the MBTA?
To whatever extent you'd like us to.
Yeah, maybe just, quick top-line overview, if you don't mind.
What was done, just quick.
Sure. So essentially it was restoring former historic double track through the area, essentially from the Franklin Norfolk town line to approximately half a mile away from the station, give or take. And improve drainage, upgrade some signals, and put in a track crossover.
Okay.
It was already pre-disturbed. The track had formerly been there, so the area already existed for it. So it was ended up just being work on existing disturbed areas within the riparian buffer zone.
Okay.
Can you give us some context of the pictures you sent?
Certainly, yeah. Would you like me to share?
That'd be awesome.
Please, yeah.
All right. All right, so we provide, can you guys see this?
Not yet. Getting there.
All right.
Now it's coming up, I think.
All right. How about now?
Yep, you're good.
Oh, am I sharing this one? How's that?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, there you go.
That was a really good.
We want one of those in Franklin. Yeah.
Like Delcard now?
I like this project a lot.
All right, so I must be sharing this. It's telling me I'm sharing another one. I have several screens here, but it's not. Do I have the right one now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. So this is one of the drainage improvements. This is looking towards the Norfolk direction inbound. I think just off there in the distance is the Acorn Place overpass.
Okay.
This is where I believe and Brian, jump in here if I'm wrong here, but where one of the under drains daylights.
That's correct.
And hits into one of the drainage ditches that was constructed.
Nice.
Yeah, that's correct. And then since this picture was taken, obviously the adjacent track where the grade is leveled out has also been constructed.
Okay.
Here's a picture from High Rail on, I believe this is on the new track, right, Brian?
That's also correct, yep.
And that may be Chestnut Street overpass off in the distance there?
I believe so, yes, because we backed down, yep, I think that's correct.
Okay, so that's a shot showing the new double track install. More recent, obviously, that was this winter.
That was this February, yep.
Oops, sorry, jumping here. Here is a photo of one of the foundations for one of the signal bridges. This one, I believe, Brian, this is one of the ones we identified in our letter as a modification, but this all took place outside of the jurisdictional resource areas.
What station is that, 1415 or 1416?
I think this is, sorry, I had the stations not showing up here.
It's not that big
I
a deal.
believe, yeah, bear with me, no, I do have it here. I think this is, yeah, 14, this one, I think this is 1403,
1403, okay.
I believe. And then just a representative photo of one of those signal cases as well. And that's all we have as far as photos ready, queued up, ready to go.
Right.
Those were the major components of the project.
Okay.
Thanks for taking us through that. Richard, you felt it?
Oh,
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's great.
it's clean as a whistle.
That's
Okay,
great.
good.
Nice. Looks great.
Yeah, it does. It looks, you wouldn't tell if they've done any work out there at all. So,
Will this make the trains run more on time? Sorry. Okay, okay. All right. Anything else, guys?
It should serve to improve the train frequency.
Okay, okay.
I can't speak to the timing.
Okay, okay.
My background is on the operations side, but.
Okay, okay, okay.
It does allow us to have multiple trains south of Walpole
Oh.
concurrent.
Okay, okay, great, great, great.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm good. You guys are good? Everybody's good? We're good?
I'm good.
Okay, yeah, so,
Give you a motion to approve the COC for the MBTA right away.
second, vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
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 Nicole,
Approve?
approves. Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
for taking the time to come in and walk us through it, guys. We
Thank
really
you.
do appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Of course,
And the
happy to do so.
Okay.
Okay, now let's move down to minutes. When I was going through the minutes, I found one thing, this is for you. If you look on page 5, there is a talk about the paddock vote the straw vote that we took originally. And if I recall, I took votes until we had 4 no's and then stopped. So Mark and I never got to vote because we'd already got hit 4 no's, which is that. But if you look at what it says, there's only 3 here. And it says here that you did not vote, and I thought you had.
I didn't vote.
You did not vote.
No, because you stopped it right before my turn.
Well, then somebody must have voted. Then either you or me must have voted then. We had to vote. Because remember, I stopped before.
Yeah, so what do we got here? We got, Mike, I mean,
So you on 3.
I did not, but, I mean, it's okay, it was a straw poll, and I think honestly, I mean, at the time, I would have said no to what we were looking at.
Okay,
I
okay.
think-
Yeah, I would have too. I was
Yeah,
about to.
I mean, I think the idea
Okay.
was to ask them to come back.
So it doesn't change, it doesn't change.
Right, right.
There's no material change.
Right.
Okay, we'll just leave it as it is. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That was okay, that's why I was confused.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
The other thing is, it looked like Tyler, they were looking for the draft of the ORAD.
Yeah, that's, once that's, finalized,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
guys have had time to review and we'll sign off on it. If
Okay.
everybody's still
All right.
agreed upon it tonight,
Okay.
then it can be included with that.
So can we approve the minutes?
Yeah.
Right, as at least
We understood it.
realizing that the override is going to be included at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Give you a motion to approve the minutes.
for May 29?
What was the date?
May 29.
May 29th.
Second that?
Okay.
Vote to approve.
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 Nicole?
Approved?
Approved.
That straw poll, I didn't
Good,
catch that.
good. Okay, good. All right, now we have 3 discussion items. Again, the site visits, Anna site visits.
I think we've got Anna here, right?
Yeah, right?
Yes.
So, Anna?
I'm here.
Did you want to go over anything that was that you specifically wanted to call out? Most of these things are self-explanatory. I just wanted.
Yeah, I don't have anything particular that I
Okay.
wanted to discuss.
Maybe just a quick comment on each one, would that be okay, Anna?
Sure. Yeah, so do you want to start at the top with
Yeah, sure,
the
yeah.
Populatic?
Yep.
Yeah, so that, I have pictures too, if it would help to share my screen at all of any of these, just let me know. So the first one is this fence that was built between 2 properties.
Hang on one second, are you looking to share pictures?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Here we go. Can you see that?
Not yet.
Give it a second.
Okay.
It's looking like it's asking for some.
Our systems like to negotiate with others.
There you go, now it's probably coming.
How about that? We got it?
It's coming.
Okay.
Now it is.
Okay, perfect.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you, Anna.
So it's this fence, it's the
Okay.
fence in question. Yeah, so the wetland is a little bit past this tree line over here. So it's within buffer zone. So we had suggested that you could request a minor buffer zone after the fact for the fence.
And they've got some yard litter there too, right?
Yeah, there was a little bit in the wetland past here. I couldn't tell if it was only within buffer zone or if it was actually within the wetland itself, because the wetland is not delineated.
I just know if you were looking at the plans, it appears that it's a strip of land owned by a homeowner across the street. So not necessarily, it's kind of easy to think it might be owned by the house directly next to it in this picture, but just want to.
Okay, okay, so it's not, okay.
That's why I could tell from GIS, assessor's database.
Okay, yeah, so 79's across the street, and this strip runs between 80 and 78, gotcha. So we're looking at an after-the-fact MBZA potentially, right?
Yep.
And maybe a initial letter requiring them to remove any of the leaf litter and yard waste from the area. Does that make sense, Anna? That's kind of what I'm seeing as a good move forward.
Yeah, the only thing with the yard waste is it might not be on this strip of property. As Tyler said, this is owned by someone across the street. So that is on this property, I believe.
So there's a separate thing.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
The leaf
separate.
litter is separate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So we
well, the
can't-
leaf litter was, yeah, it's not yeah, so like this strip right here is owned by somebody else, and then the wetland is on 78 Populatic,
Yep.
so.
So we only are dealing with the fence at this point.
Okay. And the fence was put up by 79 Populatic?
Yeah, which is across the street.
Across the street, all right, so then it's likely that either 78 or 80 dumped the leaves in the wetland is what you're kind of thinking?
Most likely.
Well, we don't know.
Okay.
Somebody put it there.
When we heard the report, it sounded like someone, like a landscaper or something, might
Yeah.
have done it around like
Yeah.
the same time as this, so that might be where.
So maybe what we do is put a letter out to both 78 and 80, just letting them know not to let landscapers blow leaves into that is a wetland. You know, we're not accusing anybody, not forcing anybody to clean up, but hey, if
Awareness.
this was your landscaper, don't let them do it again, or we're gonna make you clean it up. Is that's probably not a bad move. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
All right. So Tyler, would you mind taking a swing at a couple shots across the bow letter for 78 and 80?
I can see if there's any similar notifications we sent out before, and see if we
Okay.
can work from there.
Okay, thanks. Even if you get an outline, you want to send it over, I can help you with it. And then we're gonna request an MBZA from 79? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
That's helpful, Anna, thank you.
No problem. All right, so on to, yeah, this is what we were talking about. So this is just the strip that they own and the wetlands on the other
Okay.
property. Okay, so 7 Briarwood. This one is also, okay, so this property is a little confusing. So she wants to build a deck in a previously disturbed area where a deck was. But she wasn't, she had purchased the house, but believes there's an open order of conditions on the house. So that needs to be, or on the property.
I believe from last fall, that might have been septic system, or that was a matter of last fall.
Mhm.
That was-
That sounds,
This one sounds
that,
familiar.
that does sound familiar.
Briarwood.
I think you might be right.
Was it the?
Yeah, here's
Briarwood, yes.
pictures of the house.
We did something on Briarwood.
Yep.
Oh. I think maybe it was tree removal?
There was two, possibly. Sorry, I didn't bring the.
Yeah,
materials.
just the address looks familiar.
They actually had a NOI, upgraded septic system.
There you go.
Somebody called that.
Wow.
Richard, that would be like a trap. That must have been pre-sale, right? So,
Yeah.
The big brouhaha about that one there. Or something.
it was something interesting. I'll have to go back to it.
So basically, they would have to close out the COC first.
For the
Yeah.
septic system,
Yeah.
probably, right?
Yeah, first, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the location that she wants to build a deck.
Okay.
Can you zoom in on that? Just,
I think we're zoomed.
so there's an existing wall there, I
Mhm.
think, so it's
Yeah.
okay. And that's all constructed, it's just, they're just gonna, put it right on top of that.
Yeah, I believe the only earthwork
Looks
would
like
be
the ground was
installing the
on that
footings.
right now, yeah.
Looks like pavers or something.
Boy, that's an interesting situation there, huh?
So they're gonna put a deck there, how are they gonna get out of the house with a deck?
It looks like the slider has a 2x
Yeah.
across it.
Oh, that's a oh,
Oh, that's
you're
the.
right, I thought that was a window, but that's okay,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
right. It's
She
fine.
said that her insurance required her to
Yep.
put something there.
Well, I'd want one too, because it wouldn't put it past me to walk out the deck.
There are significant, there's a population of bittersweet and Japanese knotweed over here.
Okay.
Just something I observed while at the site.
You don't recall the owner's name, was it Christina Aquino?
I believe it's a new homeowner since the time of the last fall, so.
I would think so, but I was just curious.
NOIs.
That was the owner when they did the septic.
So this one, 7 Briarwood, it's,
7 Briarwood.
Darla.
Yes, 7 Briarwood.
Shop.
Oh, okay, yeah, good catch. All right, we can do it there, yeah. So, all right, so they went, so the previous owner didn't close out the COC. Okay.
There you
A lot of that going around.
Actually, it's usually the engineers that close that out for you.
Typically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so Collins Civil Engineering.
I should say, I can't remember what year it was, some years ago, it seemed like they got a building permit for an addition on the spot, and then just evidently might not have ever gone through with it, so that's probably why there's those doors there that,
Okay.
now have a bar in front of them.
So where's that septic system in relation, is it in this photo, or is it?
I
to the
believe it's in the
somewhere?
yard over here.
Okay.
I don't know if I have pictures of the location. Maybe this one.
Okay.
Still has
They still have the,
Yeah, the compost filter tubes.
Those are hard to get rid of. You go out and try to pick that up, you'd find that it would be very, very heavy and cumbersome. So what are we voting on?
I think she's looking for guidance on what kind of filing you would anticipate this deck needing, whether you would think maybe a notice of intent or a minor buffer zone activity or something else. And apart with, along with this certificate of compliance file, that might need to be filed for previous work. It sounds like that's what
Typically,
she's trying to do.
typically decks on pre-existing property are MBZA's.
Yeah, I would say MBZA, right, with erosion controls and
Yeah.
invasive species.
Same thing.
Minor buffer zone.
Yeah, yeah.
But do we need to do the COC first?
Mhm.
If they close that out. Okay.
That would be your decision on that, if you think they should close out that COC before.
First, yeah, first, yeah.
See
Can they
where
be done
that's
in
at,
parallel?
see
Why
where that's
can't they
at,
be done?
and maybe it was already done, but if there's still one.
Shouldn't they request to close this, if there's a COZ open, should?
Mhm. I think so, yeah.
Figured close that one and then. this one.
Yeah, typically, we would not allow
So-
a new project on that property.
I think we do
Because it's an open CSC.
is contact the engineering group,
Typically not.
contact the engineering group, right, and they're usually the ones
Procedurally,
responsible
there's no
for
reason we can't
requesting.
close
Closing it off.
Yeah.
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 Especially if it's not ready to be closed.
Right.
They don't want to penalize the deck.
Right, in this case, it definitely is, it's done.
Okay.
So do we want to call Collins Civil Engineering and have them?
Yeah, yeah,
All right, want me to do that?
yeah.
Sure.
So we'll have them instigate the COC process, and then once we get that done, I mean, then we go to the,
Yeah,
actually, I
tell
guess we
her
want to
to-
have them file an MBZA for the deck, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense?
Yeah.
sounds like the way to do it. She needs to close that COC out anyway.
Yeah.
Do you want to let the applicant know that we're going to contact the engineering firm that did the septic, assuming the COC is out there for the septic, I would guess?
Yeah, I'll let her know. She
Let
might
her
be
know,
listening on the
and
call now, but I'll send
contact
her an
Collins.
email.
I'll dig them out,
Yeah.
and,
If she has any comments, let us know.
yeah, she's yeah. This is 7. All right. That makes sense, right?
So now we have, are we still on 7 Briarwood, or do we want?
Yeah, so I think that we're done with that.
We're
right?
done.
You're gonna
Yeah.
ask them to file the MBZA, I'm gonna contact the engineer of the
Correct.
septic, we'll remove.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. All right,
All right, ready for the next one?
thank you,
So,
Anna.
131 Grove Street. This is this site. They want to do borings. When I went to the site, there was 2 flagged wetlands that appeared to be on the property. There was one over here and then one closer to the back of the property. I'm not sure if it was on the property itself or if it was somewhere further back. Yeah, so I just recommended that the applicant determine the distance between the wetlands and the proposed location, and then if there's any tree clearing that is required for any of the work.
I can reach out to them about that.
Yeah. So there's wetlands to the southeast, you're saying?
Yeah.
Like on that corner?
Yeah, close to the roadway right here.
Oh, okay.
And then there was one farther back here in somewhere.
So they just want to make 2 borings or just borings?
I believe it's one boring.
One boring.
Yep.
No, I looked at like 5 maps and couldn't see. Like there was one that's like right
Oh,
in this
that's-
area.
Okay.
But it might not even been on that database, but there was one of them. To the, I want to say, east of the, west, east of the west. There's one.
So you think in
So
range?
so it's within, so if there's something within this property, then it may be within, you know, buffer zone.
Right. All right, so we just want to give them a quick email asking them to give us a distance?
Okay. Are there distances at which you would, let's say, have a different, depending on the distance of what type of filing you would think, depending on those numbers?
They can drill holes. They don't have.
They're just doing borings, right?
Yeah, just boring.
Yeah,
I don't,
I don't think they need to file, right? I think.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think, so, Anna, you said the wetlands are already flagged, right?
Yes, they were flagged.
Yeah, I mean, I think we send them an email, just say, hey, can you give us a measurement of the proposed boring location?
Okay.
I don't know, I mean, I would put this in email, I mean, I would think anything, I mean, obviously it's outside 100 feet, right? We're rock and roll, that's what we're hopefully looking for to make it academic. If it's closer than that, I guess then we gotta decide.
Because they want to cut trees.
Yeah, there's minor tree cutting.
Oh, okay, good catch.
Is it to get access to this location?
Probably.
I believe so.
Okay.
Can they give us a count of the trees they're gonna cut?
All right, I'll ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
just give us an idea as to what clearing they need, what clearing roughly they think they need to do to do the boring.
they need to limit the
like,
cutting of trees.
yeah, just,
I guess really, anything like 3 inches or more, right? They're gonna cut.
Dodge the big trees.
Yeah, okay. So that's
And-
just a quick email.
and if they're putting a plan together where those trees are gonna be cut, if they can also add where those, you know, potentially, can we add with the wetlands were flagged on this property, just to give us a reference, because I'm pulling up the Mass GIS database. I don't see anything on this property. There's some on the adjacent to the west, but
Yeah, you know, that's a great point.
maybe I'm missing something here.
If they've got the wetlands flagged, yeah, let's get that on the,
That should be updated.
yeah, just overlay that on the picture and give us a distance, that'd be useful, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's one of the flagged wetlands that was on the property. And some flagging.
Okay.
This was at the back end of the property. And then this should have a picture of the front ones. That's just a flag. That looks like the same wetland. There was another, oh wait, sorry, here. Yeah,
So,
this
so
was
the boring is
wetland in the front.
unlikely, yeah, it's really the tree clearing, I get it, yeah, okay.
And if the so I think you're saying the wetland in the north, that's like in the corner there? That's pretty close to the boring location.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly where the property line was when I was in the field, so I'm not exactly sure where the
Okay.
wetland in the back is, so.
Which is why you're recommending they give us the distance.
Mhm.
With the lines.
Tyler, if you want to take a swing at that and just shoot it to me, I'll help with that too if you want. Is that helpful?
So you want me, like me to list out what I'm gonna
Yeah,
require?
draft up.
Okay, yeah, because I got how many trees will be cut, them providing an overlay of where they've marked as wetlands, getting the exact distance.
Yeah.
Those are 3, so if there's any additional info points you want me to request from them, I can do that.
Perfect. Okay. If that's helpful, I don't want to hold things up, but if that's helpful.
I mean, they did inquire about this back around May 19th, so it has been a little while. If you do think there's any moment or data figure where you say, okay, at that point it needs a filing that you want me to.
I mean, if they can show that their work is outside of the 100-foot buffer to the wetlands, they're golden by default, right? So we can even let it, well, I don't want to, yeah. But it shouldn't, yeah, I mean.
If it's not within the 100, they can kind of do what they want.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, 100%. But it should be quick and easy for them to come back to us, and then, you know, hopefully it's academic.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So this one appears as though it was already approved, 11 Chris Drive.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so 7 Ainsley Drive. This is another one that we recommended a minor buffer zone filing.
Yeah, we
So
just-
it's in a
Sorry, we kind of.
Yeah, we just went through all this.
Yeah, we just did that one.
Yeah, we gotta track down the COC, what we suspect is for a septic system, but yeah, we're gonna have them do an MDZ.
Oh, no, that's for 7 Briarwood. This is the MBZA.
Oh,
we just
I'm
had
sorry.
before. Yeah,
Correct, yeah, correct.
Yeah, a lot of decks.
Okay.
But so this one is in a location, I have pictures actually, let me just pull them up. Yeah, so this is, they already are taking apart the deck. They're planning to just build it basically in the footprint of the existing, where the existing deck was. Let me see if I have a better picture. My pictures are too good. So, yeah, it's basically just an already disturbed area. The buffer zone on the property is all lawn. It appears to be about 80 feet from the wetland that's on the other side of a fence over here.
So they should be just an MBZA, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They should be applying for an MBZA.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, they just had it approved. So that one is voted on by the commission just a moment ago.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's what we're trying to say, yeah, so I think we're
good on that one.
That was,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
sorry.
hear
Well, it's
you.
good to see the photos.
Yeah, no, that was helpful.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of photos.
sorry about that. I should have.
Sorry.
We're good.
Okay,
We're good.
so 136 Eric Drive, is that what we're on?
Yeah,
now?
yep.
Okay, so this one is a detached patio that they want to build in the lawn. There will be minor earthwork, because they want to install pavers of approximately 6 inches down into the soil. There is a steep slope that goes down to the wetland, and it appears that it's going to be about 40 feet from the wetland lines. I have pictures too.
Oh, yeah, it slopes.
Yeah, so this is the slope. So I'm standing at like approximately the wetland line. So it's a pretty steep slope. There it is again. And then this is about the location that they want to put the patio.
They want to put it right underneath the big slider there?
It's slightly detached from this deck that they have. It'll be more kind of in the middle of the lawn. Let me see if I have another picture.
Coming out this way?
That one.
So it's
It'll
gonna be
be
away
about-
from the slope.
It'll be about here.
Okay.
All right, well, yeah, that'd be better. They can do it there.
So
So
we
the-
could ask them to back it up a few feet to get it out of the 50-foot there.
So how much pavers are they gonna, you said that, are they gonna go from the house all the way to, is that a fire pit or something?
I think it's a fire pit, yeah.
Okay, so are they gonna go all the way out there with it?
I think it's a detached patio.
Yeah, it's a detached patio.
Oh, okay.
12 by 12.
It's 12 by 12, and they want to put pavers in that will be approximately 6 inches down into the soil.
Yeah.
I mean, so it looks like
Here,
it looks like
yeah, like
MBZA,
You're right,
right?
it's up there.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good spot for it.
Yeah, here's actually a picture of the plan.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. They did have a picture of like the type that they wanted it to look like. I didn't include it in this one because wasn't sure if you guys would need that, but it's one of those like slates, stone kind of looking walkway kind of
Whatever he wants.
patios.
Yeah.
So Tyler, why don't we ask them to do an MBZA? We asked them to do that, it might not be bad, I mean, they're 10 to 15 feet away from the deck. If they could try and get it more than 50 feet away from the wetland boundary, I think that would be advantageous, right? I mean, I don't know if that, unless it dramatically impacts where it sits on the slope or something, worth the ask.
It is yeah, this is pretty much, as they said in their email, it's kind of the only flat area in their
Yeah,
lawn.
that's what I'm saying, they probably,
Oh,
they
so they're
probably
going to
chose
the
the flattest,
flat, okay.
flattest
Yeah,
area.
okay, yeah,
That's what I think,
all right, so
that's
just
what it
get-
looked like to me,
Yeah, get an MBZA. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. All right.
So this is for oh, are you ready to go to the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so 365 Grove Street, all the trees that they were inquiring about appear to be over 150, or 100 feet from the wetland that's in back of their property.
So not our issue.
Right. You have to do anything.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, so this one I don't think we
Alright.
need to do anything about.
So in that case, I'll let them know that they are fine with those trees.
Yep.
By the company.
Yep.
That they're fine. Okay.
Yeah, so this was, are we ready to go to the next one?
Yep, you're good, thanks, Andy.
Okay. Okay, so 142 Long Hill Road, this was about someone putting debris in the wetland. I could not see the wetland from the road. And there was no trespassing signs in the development next door, so I couldn't go into this property.
Good move. This one came in when I was out of the office, and they didn't have contact information left behind, so I didn't have a means of really reaching out to who came in, seeing about property access for that means, but.
Notice the final comment there, right? They said they reach out to the individual on their own and come back to us if the matter is not resolved, so maybe it's since we didn't see anything. Right?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Wait and see.
Yeah, that's what I think, too, yeah.
They might have said that they had previously tried reaching out to them, and I seem to recall from
We need more
the
information.
report that their recent efforts to try to reach out to the person they thought was
Yeah,
were
we need more
not
information.
successful.
We can't act.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, so I think it's a wait and see if they come back.
Yep.
Is everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense, Anna, based on what you saw?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this is for a project that a building permit was applied for. It's for a deck. A portion of the deck is within the 100-foot to an adjacent stream. The size of the deck is smaller than the minor buffer zone requirements. So this one, I believe, we were wondering if they should file something. We believe they should file for a minor buffer zone application. And then I believe there's pictures of the plans right here. Yeah, so this is the proposed location. Or it's an addition.
Yeah, okay. MBZA.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So with that one, you had suggested that they also provide a plan with that stream buffer zone, am I understanding that correctly?
Yes,
from everyone?
yeah.
Okay.
From our measurements, it was, 100 foot was somewhere generally in the middle of the addition. So.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and then this one was a tree removal issue that I believe they already got approval to remove the trees, and we believe they should file the after the fact minor buffer zone.
Yep.
Okay.
So they should be submitting an MBZA for June 26th. That's what they responded when we let them know.
Okay.
Okay, and then I believe this is the final one, so this is another tree removal. This is actually on town-owned property.
Oh, that's right,
It's
yeah.
this branch right here, and then there's a few other dead trees. The wetland's very close to the tree line.
DPW's taking care of that, right?
Right, that's what I last heard from Derek. I believe that's on their agenda, on their plans for this week, if they haven't already started doing it already. That's what I
Okay.
heard from them today.
Excellent.
Great.
I think that's my last one.
And this is
All right.
super helpful
Thank you.
having you here to go
Yeah,
through this.
thank
I
you.
know
That
it's
was,
a long
Yeah,
time
no
for you
problem.
waiting, but thank you. This is so good. I appreciate you
I'm
helping
glad
us
to
out
help.
with all that.
Love the pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah, the pictures are really helpful.
Yeah.
No problem.
okay,
Are we done? Ready? Go on to the next?
yeah.
Okay, the next discussion item is the villages at Oak Hill. If you might recall, this is that Beaver Deceiver project. How do we get them, how do we get these people to do the Beaver Deceiver? Who does it and how do we pay for it, et cetera, et cetera?
So I've talked with Derek Adams. He had done previous ones on this before, on Beaver Deceivers, even with Beaver Solutions. So he's just refamiliarizing himself with the process, preparing a request for determination of applicability that the town would file. So it would be,
Okay.
I think, it might be called Beaver Street Pond, or one that had been done in the past couple of years.
That's correct, yes.
So it's seeming like it might be not too dissimilar from how that process goes, apart from any other differences in location. But he's filing that right now and hoping to have it ready for the June 26th hearing.
So, just so people know, as far as if I recall correctly, you can get certified in beaver
Deception?
deception. There's some sort of something you go through, a course you go through, and I do think that Brika Lai took the course and did get certified.
certified.
Yeah, she's certified. Okay, just FYI. So, I know we're not trying to bother her, but if we absolutely have to reach out to her, she is knowledgeable.
Just they've been very busy.
Yeah.
The beaver?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy moly.
Yeah.
really busy, like super busy.
This is
Yesterday. This needs to get
And
going,
this was-
Ricky
this
Tick.
This was taken yesterday.
Okay.
I have forwarded these along to Derek too, just to help him
Right, yeah, yeah.
with context of this.
Are you familiar with the beaver deceiver, what that is?
I'm sorry?
Are you familiar with what a beaver deceiver is?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
we actually
They've
have one
had some in
in the
before.
margin pond that's on our
I
property.
thought, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
And it works quite well.
yeah, they're amazing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the plan.
Hopefully, because nobody really wants to go and euthanize the beavers. They're,
Yeah, that's why we try and do
Yeah.
these now, so we'll work to get that accomplished.
Any idea of a timeline, how the process goes?
So if they submit, right now, I believe most requests for determination of applicability are being treated as general business items. As I said, he's intending for it to be on the June 26th hearing. If the commission reviews it, approves it, then they'll be able to issue the determination of applicability. And from there, I guess it'd be a matter of working with Beaver Solutions and probably Derek Adams on coordinating,
Yeah.
having them go and install that.
I mean,
That would probably be, they would be more knowledgeable about that. I'm not.
Well, I think, that- I mean, the rate limiting step is gonna be having the solutions guys come out and schedule a time to actually do the work, right?
to do the work.
To do
yes.
the work.
They've already looked at the property,
Right,
and that's
right,
what
right.
they recommended.
Right, so I'm saying, I think this will go fast. It's really them figuring out how to get out
The
there.
time,
Yeah,
okay.
that was kind of what happened last time. We kind of had to wait a month or so for them
Yeah.
to slot us in.
Exactly, and of course, the longer it goes.
I know,
then, you
yeah,
it's a-
yeah.
it's an
We
issue.
had the same issue. Like, we
Yeah.
went
Can
and
we go
done.
to them now and get a tentative date for them so that when the approval comes, instead of waiting?
Yeah,
If the-
waiting 2 weeks.
If they're comfortable with giving
Knowing that
it,
there's a contingency, but I mean, to
Yeah.
get on their program.
it doesn't hurt to ask.
Well, I think, and also given that we've already been through this process before,
Yes.
and it's pretty much, template, to be honest.
Yes.
So I don't think this will have any issue. We're familiar with
Perfect.
them, we've used them before,
Okay,
Beaver Pond, et cetera. I mean,
Yeah.
so they will know that they're only just awaiting your final approval.
yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
it's administrative.
Call them up and get
At
them
this,
ready to
at this
go.
point, really, it's administrative, to be
So
honest.
you're gonna contact them, just to be clear, so we know?
Yes, I would
Okay.
gladly be in contact with
Sure,
them.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get 'em
So if you get them,
Yeah,
if you get
spoken to
them,
them.
if you get them rolling,
Yeah.
we can do the administrative and then,
Yeah, let them know,
Get this done.
we'll
Yeah.
be working through the details on the 26th.
Yeah.
But if you want to try and get a date, and if you get that, shoot it to Tyler and let us know,
Good.
Okay,
right? Let's
can
just
do
all
that
keep in
easily.
communication so we can
all right,
keep it moving.
excellent. Very good.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
glad you came in to talk.
sorry you had to wait to the end.
Oh, man, Lord.
Sorry.
Better than the last meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you
yeah.
very much for your time.
Will we be higher up on the agenda on the 26th?
Yeah,
No
yeah.
bloodshed tonight.
Thanks again.
Thank you, guys, thank you. No bloodshed, oh my God. Bring your armors and mace, jeez. Well, we have had meetings like that. Oh,
Yeah, I
yes, we
know.
have, oh, yes, we have, okay. All right, next one up on the discussion list is the town forest walkway, the bridge failure. So, I don't think Jay works for the rec department anymore, he's not with the town anymore, right?
I think it's on planning
Unfortunately.
board. I think it's on planning board.
Oh, he's on
But,
planning board? Oh,
Yeah, so
Oh, is he-
Ryan
is he?
Jetty,
yeah.
I'd reached out to, but he said they could possibly have an Eagle Scout volunteer group do something like that.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make my comment back to you guys, public. Be careful, all right, be careful. If it's an Eagle Scout putting up signage at Delcart, that's pretty easy. That doesn't require risk to life and limb. If you're talking about someone doing a structural project that people are going to traverse, that could break or something happen and someone could get hurt or injured or die, okay? Probably not a good idea to have a non-insured, non-bonded person do it. So I don't feel comfortable having an Eagle Scout do
No,
this.
you're
I think
absolutely
that's- I don't think that's a good
The
idea.
sign's one thing, a bridge is not.
No, yeah, right, right.
There's a picture up on the projector. of the
Yeah.
Damage that was observed
Right.
by a resident.
Oh, it doesn't look very good.
That dog has his life.
The weight of that dog was.
That dog's
Yeah.
heavy, like,
Yeah.
It's like located
It's
around
up-
here.
up-
It's inland quite a ways. or
So-
down
is
the
that your
trail.
pug?
But,
That's not
okay.
mine, that's the resident. who-
But,
Oh, okay.
but that begs the question, who is it then that reaches out to someone or finds someone to
That's not
reconstruct
just
the
a
bridge?
five and dime little
I
project
know,
right there.
no, that's a big project.
Those beams are heavy like
Yeah.
you read about.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah,
a
yeah.
suggestion, I think we ought to have Anna take a look at it and Brian volunteer to potentially go along. I mean, you know, is this a wetland situation?
Well, why is rec involved?
Because maybe because he was interested, right? We approached him because they've helped us with this in the past. He was interested in maybe playing a role in the solution. I'm just, you know, my point is, are there wetlands ramifications where this bridge shouldn't even be there to begin with, right? I mean, seriously, right? If we're gonna go hire somebody to slap up a new bridge, I mean, do we have to take that into account? I don't know, right?
And then we
That
disapprove
looks like
it.
water.
Yeah, right, yeah,
It's water underneath it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even know what I mean, obviously, someone put a bridge there, right? It's town forest, conservation jurisdiction.
Okay, so this went in roughly at the same time we built the dog park. Okay, that's when this went in.
Okay.
Right? So this is the same time as the frisbee golf, whatever, the disc golf, frisbee golf,
Love that.
right,
That's
okay?
good.
The dog park and that, all at the same time.
Well, I can tell you right now, unless you're gonna get in the water, you gotta bring some equipment in to do that. Is that,
Well, if
we're
it's
gonna
where I think it
drive
is,
something down the path?
if it's where I think it is, it's gonna be really hard to get back there. It's very narrow and it's very muddy and it's basically a human footpath that goes to this point. It's not like a
Hell, just
big
getting that
trail.
thing out of there is one,
No, I
is
know,
gonna be.
I know.
Getting
I
a
know,
new one
yeah.
in there,
I know.
you're gonna mess up some real estate, son.
So that map, they took it from backcountry, so that's, those are trails that, you know, people will share and.
Yeah,
so that's an,
yeah.
you know, people.
Yeah.
This is no nickel dime job.
I know, I
and-
know.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to basically deconstruct it and reconstruct it on site.
Yeah, and you're gonna get in the water.
Oh, yeah.
And then somebody, namely probably us, gonna have to pay for it, right? So, that's
But
why.
what land is it on?
Well, that's why I thought it'd be good to have Anna take a look at it, give us some, or one of us can go out there, but it might not be bad to have a professional wetland scientist.
Well, I think your point about wetlands impact is important, right?
Right.
Crosses water, we definitely should have Beta look at it. And because there may be some impacts there, we have no idea. We may not be able to touch this, we don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, my thought was we may just have to do our best to decommission it, which would be unfortunate, but we might, to your point, be opening up a
Yeah.
whole hornet's nest.
Yeah,
if
we don't know.
Yeah, so that's why I think, and Ryan was interested in walking it, maybe he wants to take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Unclear, but he volunteered.
Well, actually, the structure isn't any of our concern anyway. I mean, we're not structural engineers, we're not gonna be building it. We're just commenting on the fact that, hey, it's in a wetland, it's
Right.
across the bridge.
Is it legitimately, should a bridge even be there? Right.
Right, to your point, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Built by somebody that's like a hiking enthusiast.
Probably, yeah, probably.
And you see those,
Yeah,
you see
yeah,
for
yeah.
Well,
ease of traffic,
Yeah.
Bridges in Delcart, I mean.
Yeah, doesn't mean we can't, you
If
can't.
somebody's willing to pay for it, I guess is the question.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Well,
work.
we have to find out what it's gonna cost first.
Right.
I mean,
And then we'd have to.
I think it's gonna be a lot more than we think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be, yeah.
Well, Louis could probably hustle it in there, but not me.
No, I'm not gonna try.
You need a gator.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and then also whatever, that seems like a long span, and of course, over time, the wood rotted out and
That's right.
structurally, weakened that.
Well, we'll
so-
put a treated beam in there, yeah, so
Let's put like a little, like a nice little
we
trailer.
could do that too.
Yeah,
You can prefab, you can get pretty,
Yeah?
you can get pretty nice with it.
yeah, okay.
So is it, right now, we're gonna, take a look at where in that property it sits, and then how do we know if it's ours or?
Well, it's
What's-
town,
Okay, no, wait.
forest, so
Okay, no.
it's conservation jurisdiction.
so
I think the proposal is to have Anna from Beta
Yeah,
take a look at it with
Yeah.
Ryan. I mean, I'm just making a suggestion here, right? Just to give us
I agree.
complete context.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah,
I agree.
So far, it's a bridge that needs, either replacement or just take it out, so.
Right, which would make people sad and angry.
probably.
Especially that dog.
Yeah.
And the dog, that dog's gonna,
Get its feet wet.
Yeah.
Um,
I think whatever you do on this, somebody is going to be unhappy with you.
yeah, yeah.
It's a safety thing too.
Well, that's the
No,
reason
definitely
why,
safe.
that's the reason why it's
For-
a priority.
Yeah, it has to be addressed, for sure. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can't have kids like jumping on it or riding their bikes across it or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
All right.
great.
Might not be a bad idea to review the open space and recreation plan and see if there had been any discussion on the town forest or that area.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea, yeah.
Way to go.
All right, so we'll request a site visit from Anna on that?
Yeah,
And see if we can coordinate with Ryan?
Yeah,
Okay,
get started anyway.
cool. Then we've got 381 Prospect Street.
Yes, you had asked me to add that to the agenda yesterday or today.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
So,
something we've already been.
Do you have that picture? Well, actually, they're in the drive. So this is a deal where a resident sent us a picture of some debris piled up next to the wetlands. It looks like this homeowner just plowed up the turf in front of their house along Prospect Street to put a gravel berm there.
yeah.
And this stuff is all just sitting, it's basically kind of interesting, right? They laid down a bunch of,
What is it?
it's turf. It's freaking grass. They
Oh,
turfed the
all
ground.
rolled up and he just flopped it there?
Flopped it up. That's probably about $500 worth of turf right there.
Yes, you're right.
It would be like those sods.
And it's
Yeah,
dead now.
sod, yeah, sod squares, sorry.
Oh my.
Yeah,
And it's all rolled
That's a
up, and been
waste.
there for,
yeah, now it's all dried up and dead.
it's all dead.
It's bananas. But, I did drive by like 2 weeks ago and they're having a huge party and they had all their guests park on the gravel.
Oh,
berm.
yeah.
Also wasn't a good time to go in and talk.
Yeah, but I think that's why they did it, right, it's additional
Oh,
parking.
yeah.
But,
okay. Yeah,
but at any rate,
yep.
actually
So,
bring the spot up on the map for you guys, but the computer's acting a little off. Getting you over
We need to write them,
yeah, so
something
Tyler took
that
a
says
shot at
that probably should be doing that.
Thought we'd just take a look at the letter real quick.
Yep. Okay.
And you also ought to be in better relations with your neighbor.
Well, you know, I think the issue they got, right, is that's not far from where that culvert clogged up, and they put, the DPW has been there 3 or 4 times unclogging that culvert.
Oh, so
There's a
there's
guy
a-
up the road who's half his backyard flooded from the beavers. So
He's a little sensitive.
he's a little sensitive, yeah. And I can't say I blame him.
Yeah. Flooding your yard just gets old.
Yeah. But you can see, yeah, there's, you can see just in the corner of the lot, yeah, there you go. Right, is that little stream there,
Yeah.
and that's right where that stuff is plowed up against.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, if you do the, because that map will only zoom in so much. If you do the, yep, that one, you could zoom in a lot more. So it's that corner right there?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Now, I believe DPW is trying to reach out to the contractor as well.
Yeah, I
about
think
that.
it's probably the homeowner. So,
That's what I think too, yeah.
Tyler, you wanna put up the kind of perspective letter you constructed, so
You know, I don't
you
have
guys wanna
that
take a quick picture?
digitally ready. If I have that paper.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the drive, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry, we just thought this would make sense to,
The hey use
Yeah.
letter.
yeah,
Hey, use.
essentially. So we were asking them to file an MBZA,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And,
Clean that up.
yeah,
Clean it up and remove it.
so,
Okay.
so we thought we'd send them this, so if you guys have any thoughts. I mean, it's clearly in the 25 feet, right?
Well, what about all that gravel we put down?
That's on the road, side of the road.
Actually, I mean, essentially, he's.
I mean, if you wanted to be a jerk about it.
Well,
Well, we were asking him to file an after-the-fact MBZA, right,
Right,
for
right.
everything.
Right, okay.
So,
yeah.
and as part of that, gotta clean that up, so.
Okay.
You guys good with that?
Yeah,
I am.
yeah,
Notify him and get the ball rolling.
yeah.
All right, so Tyler, we'll send that out.
If you're gonna put stone out there, at least you could do a better job of it.
If you just
Well, they just dumped it. They just dumped it down.
Just bring in a bulldozer and plowed up his
No.
side.
Gee whiz.
What chuckleheads?
Well, they were trying to get cheap.
Yeah,
Super
You could
cheap.
do- In an hour with a number 2 shovel, you could take care of it.
yeah. All right, so we'll get that out.
So did any of that material go into the spring? Do we know?
not
So did
certain.
it get pushed all
I
like
don't
further?
think you can,
It's pretty dense.
from this picture, you can't really
Yeah,
determine it.
it's not easy to get back in there.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure if it was like, things got further pushed, like,
Might have.
because it looks like it's a mound.
Right.
Like how much were they going?
So
Is it-
he
that.
stripped the grass from the front of his house. and
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that
Put
beautiful
it up there.
side,
I
right?
know.
Half-assed some stone in the front there,
Just to put gravel on there?
Yeah.
and that looks,
Oh,
that looks good. Let him park on the grass.
Seriously?
I don't know, man.
You said that's 31?
Two,
Oh, okay.
or 381
Oh, okay,
Prospect.
okay.
Three.
So is that down by the newer houses? that
It's
they
it's
put-
one of the newer
Oh,
houses.
it's one of the
Yeah,
newer
yeah, it's
ones.
right across from the farm, that
Okay.
that one, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready? We done?
All right, done with that.
Okay, let's go on, okay, so we talked about election, what, are we done?
Just one quick question.
What?
Back on the walkway, should we like notify another town department of a safety hazard, or have they already been notified?
So we went to DPW.
Okay.
And they wasn't their deal, and then we went to Ryan Jetty. And because it's conservation jurisdiction, everybody seems to be pointing back at us.
Right,
I mean,
right.
We
Is that right?
kind of went.
Of course.
So should we go out there and like put yellow tape across it, say not safe, or, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's up for discussion. I guess if Anna can get out there this week and give us.
We need to know what it is, what we got. So she's gotta go out first before we do anything.
But I mean.
I don't want us touching it until she
It's
looks
not
at it.
gonna collapse right now.
No,
You
no,
can still
no,
walk up, you
no,
can walk across
no.
it and it might get a little bouncy.
Can, just for the sake of safety, and can Anna make this a priority, or like, you know, just to make sure?
That's a good idea, Louis.
Just
Yeah,
to,
and
just
Michael,
to get
yeah, I
this,
mean,
you know.
Well,
if
let me
we-
just say, if anyone has a bright orange cone, you might want to put an orange cone on the bridge at the point of the break, just to give someone some idea that there's something going on.
Well, that's a good, in theory,
Just
that's
an
a
orange
very
cone.
good idea, but the cone's gonna get chucked into the,
I mean, I think
Well,
the yellow
there's
tapes that Michael brought up, I mean, yellow caution tape,
yeah, you can do that too.
you know?
Now, if any commissioner does want to go out there, we do have vests, but it is also a trail on conservation jurisdiction, so you don't necessarily need anyone's permission to go have a look if you wanted to.
I could
Yeah,
ride
but
out to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let Anna know, just if you're trying to do this like soon, ASAP.
I could bushwhack out to the the bridge.
Maybe check and see if DPW would have some of that tape, I don't know, they've got that kind of stuff, or where you procure.
Oh, hell, I got rolls of it.
Do you?
Oh, yeah, I'm
Grade
sure.
stakes
I'm
and
sure, yeah,
Tie
exactly.
them off.
Oh, yeah.
Some guy will just tear it.
Yeah, it's not a big
Yeah.
deal. You just have to get out there. Just get to
You
it.
bring awareness, but whether they adhere to that is another story.
Well,
But
yeah.
at least we announce that this is not a safe thing to cross, right? I'll take a.
So it's our bridge?
Well, because it's in conservation land.
It's not
It's
necessarily
on
our bridge, but
conservation
it's on
land.
our property.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. Kind of the worst of all
Yeah,
worlds, yeah.
exactly.
Like you said, somebody probably,
Yeah, somebody just threw it up there.
yeah, off-piste on their own.
Probably, yeah, a long time ago, years ago. But again, it happened, it went in about the same time as Dog Park, which was a decade ago.
So you wanna put tape across it, put a grade stake on this side and this side and tighten,
That's what I would do.
Unsafe.
That's what I would do.
and put a sign up too?
No, just the yellow tape, caution tape, caution.
Well, you guys are awful optimistic that that's easy to do.
Well, if we put,
Look,
what I would
but
say
the
is
point is-
if we put the tape up, photograph the tape up, and then we have done our part, right? To your point, someone rips it
So,
down.
wait, so what I would do, this is what I do though.
What would you do?
Okay, we're getting a lot more detail than we need to.
Like a bunch
What I
of
would do-
insurance agents.
Yeah, but what I would do is, I wouldn't cross the path, I'd put it from one side of the bridge to the other, on the side of the break, and just like, basically have the yellow tape like that, right? Maybe a stake in, because I can tell you that water is not very deep.
No,
About a
but-
foot at most, right? So put a stake there, a stake at the ends, and basically just tie it along the side, right? Along the side, because at least someone will go, oh, I see there's a break. You can make a determination whether you want to walk across it or not.
Also put it down the side of the bridge.
Yes, yes,
No,
that's what I would do.
It says caution.
Yeah,
right?
that's, I wouldn't, because if you do something across the trail, it's gonna
Yeah,
end
yeah,
up in the
yeah.
stream. You know that's true. When you put on the side, at least you mark something, and then people walk by it probably.
All right, so are there actions here? Are we?
I'll do it.
All right, wow.
The intrepid, okay.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. All right. Good man.
I gotta figure out where the hell it is first, but I'll go.
All right.
Cause, we got rolls of that damn tape all over the place.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so, on to the next, on to the big events. All right, so, we talked about how to do this. This is what my suggestion was. We have to, when we're voting for, new leaders, it does have to be a part of the public record, of course, but the discussion doesn't have to be. So if there was going to be any discussion, my recommendation is what we've done in the past, which is we've gone into executive session to discuss, we've come out of executive discussion to have the vote. So the vote is on the public record, but the discussion does not necessarily have to be.
That'd be a good idea.
Okay, and the reason why we did that in the past was we felt it was more comfortable for people not being on camera and microphone to have what could be pretty frank discussions, right? That's my recommendation. Would that be sufficient? Nicole, would you be okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so to go into executive session, we have to have a roll call vote, yes or no. Okay, and majority takes it. So I'm recommending we go into executive session and I will poll. Richard?
I approve.
You say yes?
Yes.
Okay, Louis?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And Nicole?
Yes.
Okay, so we're in executive session, which means the video and the tape are shut off.